Edison, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Greenfield Village Railroad. For the safety of our younger riders, we ask that the adults with them place themselves on the outside of the road. If that's not practical, please make sure that you're held safely within your reach. Please do not stand up and move around whatsoever while the train is in motion. And eating and drinking is not permitted except water from a closed water bottle. We welcome you to our new 2021 season here at the Greenfield Village. Here you'll be able to see over 300 years of history as you walk through the village today. I'm your conductor, Christine, and I'll be giving you somewhat of a tour as we move through the rail system for the next 30 minutes. We'll wait for bike drive, station master. Greenfield Village is divided into several different districts. The very first one is the Henry Ford Model District. Come and visit and trace the life of Henry Ford from his birth all the way to the time we came up with that great idea of a Model T car that changed the world of transportation forever in 1908. Looking over to the left, you'll see the white farmhouse. That's the birthplace of Henry Ford, born on the second floor of that home on July 30th, 1863. At the age of 16, he did leave home. Farming life was just not for him. Visit the Ford Motor Company and find out more about his experiences as he continued to grow older. We also have Model T's displayed for you, and don't forget the kitchen sink engine demonstration. We now come up to our next district, which is the Main Street District. Here we have the home of the Wright brothers and also the Wright brothers cycle shop, where that idea of aviation took flight. Mrs. Cohen's Millinery is open today, and please stop in and take a look at some of the hats that she has made. Down the street there's the Herschel Children's Carousel that was built in 1913. Hope you get a chance to take a swim on it today. As the weather does warm up, at 11 o'clock the frozen custard stand does open, and you can enjoy a frozen custard just like they made it back in 1919 at Coney Island, New York. We are now coming into another district called Edison at Work. There you can see the great building. That is called the Invention Factory. It is up to this that on the second floor that Thomas Edison and his crew came up with many inventions, receiving over 420 patents during this time. Just down the street, the single men that worked for Thomas Edison would rent a room at the Sarah Jordan boarding home. And in 1879, that particular home was fitted for electrical power, the first in the entire world. Next to that, we have Fort Myers Laboratory, where Edison continued his work even though he wintered in Florida. District called Horses and Parlors, and what a beautiful way to come in through the aptly covered bridge that was built in 1832. Here is the, you'll see the homes of some famous people and some just ordinary people. Some of the homes do have presenters that will help give you more information, and others are just to walk through. You'll be able to visit the home of Noah Webster, the person who came up with the American English Dictionary in 1828. The home of Robert Frost, and just up ahead is the Susquehanna Plantation. Built in 1834 in Tidewater, Maryland. Back in the day, it was 700 acres big, and the cash crop of that plantation was tobacco. Slaves were the ones that worked on that plantation. Next to that, we have the Simpson family home. It is the oldest American home that we have here at Greenville Village, built in the early 1700s. Mr. and Mrs. Simpson raised 6 children in that small home, one-room home. A must-see to see the ingenuity used to house all those people in that slum. The Bears Woodmill comes to us from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It was a gift to Henry Ford from the Ford Motor Company. Built in 1865. It happens to be the oldest standing windmill in the country. And then we have the Daniel Farm House. It comes to us from Connecticut, 1754. A must-see place today when you're out towards the parlors. Mr. Daggett will tell you about how he built his own air conditioning system and heating system in that old home. Inspired by Henry Ford, who had a great love for the railway, the museum staff at the Henry Ford decided to build a 3-mile rail system around the Greenville Village in the early 1970s. It's the standard gauge rail. We have 3 steam locomotives that pull our cars here during the season. The one that's pulling our train today, right, is George Lake. It was built in 1873. In the copper mining part of the state in the Upper Peninsula. We also have the Edison and the Baldwin number 7. What's pulling our second train today is the General Electric diesel. If you get a chance to walk past the roundhouse and peek into the doors and visit, you'll be able to see the other locomotives that are stored there. And also take a look at the Pierre Marquette turntable, built in 1901, used to get rolling stock in our locomotives in and out of the roundhouse. Preserve area, which is about 11 acres big. I'll let you kind of sit back and look on both sides of the train as we move through. You might spot a white-tailed deer, a coyote, a raccoon, some wild turkeys, and waterfowl as we move through the area. hill, you'll see the backside of horses and parlors. On the extreme left is the Cotswold Cottage that was purchased by Henry Ford for his wife. It was built in 1619, and it comes from Chester, England. Next to that, we have Giddington's home, and Noel Webster's home, and Robert Frost's home. Looking out, you'll see this is called Walnut Grove, a place where many activities take place. As you can see, it's set up for soccer for the high school students that are on the team. But during the season, starting in June, we will have historic baseball being played here. This is a place for many events. Coming back this year is Motor Muster, June 19th and 20th. Mark your calendars. It's going to be a fantastic time. Just up ahead is Henry Ford Academy High School. The students are studying remotely right now. The students in 10th through 12th grade attend in this place. Over at the museum, the 9th graders would have classes. Henry Ford always believed that learning to do is by doing, and that's what the students get to do. They move throughout the museum and the village to learn firsthand what they're studying in the classroom. To be a student here at the Henry Ford Academy, one must live in Wayne County. After
What? Motor Muster. Yeah, what the? We'll be here. I need reservation. Okay. I'll watch the website.
Just up ahead in the boxcars, those are classrooms. They're reserved for the privileged seniors.
Yeah. Sure you have to sanitize. Good.
We'll say hello to Sue conductor, Matt, and Victor. Once again, wait for the whistle.